Solving a linear equation with several occurrences of the variables on both sides, and fractional coefficients. So whenever we have an equation, our goal is always to get the variable by itself. This is a linear equation because there's no exponents on the variable. We're solving for u. Because we have fractions, the one thing that we are going to have to do no matter what is find the LCD. And before I do that, I want to see every single term to be a fraction, so I put this one over 1, just so that I remember that there are 4 terms in this problem. Terms are always letters and numbers, mixes of those things that are separated by pluses or minuses. So each clump is its own term. Some of them have no variables, and those are going to be constants. But in any case, we have 4 different things. I want them all to be fractions, just so that I can remember that I have to do to all of them the same kind of stuff. So my LCD, I'm looking between a 1, a 3, and a 2. I need a number that all 3 of those numbers go into. So 1, 3, and 2 all go into 6, so my LCD is going to be 6. Now, you have 2 ways of, well, you have more than 2 ways, but 2 ways that I usually think of to solve these is I can get everything to have a common denominator. So I have 4u over 1, and I need this to be a 6. So this is going to need to be multiplied by 6 over 6. Whatever you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. And then I have minus 4/3. To get this bottom to be a 6, I'd have to multiply by 2 and multiply by 2. And then I have a negative 7/2 u. That letter can be either next to the fraction or on the top of the fraction. And then that, to get us be a 6 on the bottom, is going to need to be multiplied by 3 on top and bottom. And then minus 5/2. And to get that to be a 6, it's going to need a 3 and a 3. So no matter what you do when you have fractions, you do need to find the lowest common denominator, or a common denominator. Lowest just means smaller numbers. And then you do have to rewrite it. So this is going to give me 24 u over 6 minus 8, because I'm multiplying straight across, over 6 equals negative 7 times 3 is 21. I'm going to put that u up top there. Just, it doesn't matter if it's on top or to the left, to the right of it. And that's over 6 minus 15 over 6. Now I do need to get the letter terms on one side and the number terms on the other. So in this case, I'm going to move the negative 21 because it is smaller than 24. So I'm going to add 21u over 6 plus 21u over 6. This will give me 21 plus 24 is 45 u over 6. These will cancel out, and now I tend to save a little bit of space, so I've done that first. I still have the equal sign, and now I'm going to get rid of, on the side where my u is, I'm going to get rid of the other terms. So I'm going to add 8/6, so plus 8/6. Remember, once the denominators match, I can combine them together. So these will cancel out because they are the same value. One's positive, one's negative. And then I want 15 minus 8. I need to know the difference between 8 and negative 15. So 15 minus 8 is 7. The 15 is the bigger, so it's a negative 7 over 6. All right. So that gets me that fraction so far. And now what I'm going to do is I need to get rid of the coefficient. So I'm going to divide by 45 over 6. And on this side, I'm going to write the divided by with that divided by 45 over 6. This cancels with this. So I have u equals, to do the dividing of the fractions, I'm going to keep the first fraction, negative 7 over 6 times, I'm going to switch to multiplication and flip 6 over 45. Now the 6's cancel out, top and bottom, and I have u equals, don't lose your negative, negative 7 over 45. There is nothing that goes into both 7 and 45, so that is my finished problem. Now, if I did it a different way with using the LCD and multiplying everything by the LCD, what my problem is going to look like instead is going to be 4u over 1 minus 4/3. So this is just the alternate way that I usually will solve problems. I do interchangeably either way first. So I'm going to do 7. I'm going to put that u up there just so I don't lose it. Over 2 minus 5 over 2. So now this time my LCD is still 6. Same problem that we have, but I'm going to multiply each one of these by 6 over 1. Our fraction problems are going to get messier, so sometimes this will make your life a little bit easier, a little less messy when we're looking at stuff. But give yourself plenty of space to write things. Now I'm going to simplify each one of these ratios. This, or each one of these fractions, this does not simplify. I can just multiply across, so this is going to be 24u, and it'd be over 1, so I don't have to worry about that fraction anymore. Fractions are over 1. 3 goes into 6 2 times, and then this becomes a 1, so now all the denominators are 1, so I can multiply those together. So negative 4 times 2 is minus 8. 2 goes into 6 3 times, and that becomes a 1. So now I have equals, don't lose your equal sign, negative 7 times 3 is negative 21. And then I can 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 2 goes in, that becomes a 1. So this becomes, I lost my u, minus 5 times 3 is negative 15. All right, so, oh, and I lost my negative here. So, like I said, be careful of your negatives. I highlight them a lot of times if I'm having a number day where I can't keep track of my negatives. Now we're going to move all the u's to one side and all of the plain numbers to the other. So I'm going to add 21u plus 21u is 45u minus 8 equals, these cancel out, negative 15. Add 8 to both sides. And we have negative 7 equals 45u. Divide both sides by that 45. And we have u equals negative 7 over 45. So same answer both ways. It's just a matter of which way it makes a little bit more sense for you. Try practicing both ways. Try practicing multiplying by that LCD, making sure that everything gets multiplied by it, and see if it makes your life a little bit easier on solving these problems.